Part 199. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1981. Chapter 1981. Forget about this matter. Whether it was because of the car accident or not, I think since I don't remember it anymore, you don't need to care about it anymore. I can probably guess how you feel. Do you think I saved your life and you want to repay this kindness? Mr. Gong, I think it's really not necessary. Maybe it was just a simple effort for me at the time. Since it's been 10 years since this happened, let him go. I don't need you to repay my kindness. You don't need to feel that you owe me anything. It's just what you think. Gong Zili seemed to be suppressing his emotions, and his voice became deeper and deeper. You saved me, and I can't say nothing. Even if you think it doesn't matter, I will always feel that I owe you something. A favor. I can't not repay you for saving your life. Chiao Mian Mian. According to what you said, I saved you, right? So I can be considered your savior. Yes. So should you listen to your savior. Chiao Mian Mian, you. Mr. Gong, I really don't think you need to repay me with anything, and I don't need it either. If you feel that you owe me something, then I will make a request of you. If you do it, it will be regarded as repaying my kindness. What? Forget about this. Let's try not to have any contact with each other in the future, okay? Because if you do this, it will really cause trouble to me and my significant other. I don't want him to be unhappy. Mr. Gong, please don't call me again. I have something else to do, so I'm hanging up. After Chiao Mian Mian finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Asterisk. The other side. Gong Zili listened to the disconnection sound coming from the phone, and clenched the phone tightly, the knuckles of his slender fingers turning white a little bit. She rejected him. Actually, it was within his expectation, but why was he still so angry? She said those words very easily. She said to let him go. He also thought about letting it go, but could he let it go? Those things that were not important to her were, to him, a worry that he couldn't let go of. Mong Zili kept answering the phone and stood motionless in front of the floor-to-ceiling window for a long, long time. Until there was a knock on the door. He finally came to his senses, took a deep breath, adjusted the expression on his face, turned around and said, "Come in." The door opens. His assistant came in. The assistant had an anxious look on his face and a somewhat solemn look on his face. He hurriedly walked to the desk with a stack of documents in his hand. Mr. Gong, the assistant, pursed his lips, put a thick stack of documents on the desk, and said solemnly, "Now the Mo family has cancelled all cooperation with our Gong family and withdrew all investments. All ongoing projects have been suspended. These projects can no longer be carried out for the time being, which has caused great impact and losses to our Gong family. These are the financial statements that have just been compiled. This is only a day's loss, which is already shocking. If it continues like this, it will be a major blow to Gong." Gong Zili looked down at the financial statements on the table, narrowed his eyes, and picked them up. He looked through it for a while, and the expression on his face seemed to remain unchanged, but the coldness in his eyes became more and more serious. After a moment, he put the file down. "Mr. Gong, what should we do next?" the assistant asked. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1982. Chapter 1982. Do you really want to force me to turn against you? In order to attract investment again, please help me make an appointment with President Zhang of Minxing Bank right away. Also, make an appointment with Chairman Wang to have dinner with him at noon tomorrow. Inform the company's public relations department to suppress this matter and don't let the news out. Yes, Mr. Palace, but this matter is so big that it may be difficult to keep the news from leaking out. Then let them keep an eye on it. If there is any movement, suppress it immediately, Gong Zili said in a gloomy voice, If they can't handle such a simple thing, they don't have to stay in the Gong family anymore. Feeling the gloomy coldness on Gong Zili's body, the assistant lowered his head and said hurriedly, "Yes, Mr. Gong, I'll do it right away." Soon, the assistant left. Gong Zili's eyes fell on the stack of documents on the table again. He pursed his lips, picked up the documents, and tightened his fingers little by little. "Mo Yesi, do you really want to do this so well? Do you really want to force me to turn against you?" Asterisk. The next week, Chiao Mian was very busy. She traveled to various places to promote her new play. In the meantime, she still had to attend some announcements and attend some activities. Anyway, she was so busy that she was running around outside almost every day without touching the ground. In the past, no matter how busy or tired she would video chat with Mo Yesi for an hour before going to bed. She has been very busy these days, and by the time she is free, it is almost already very late. She returned to the hotel, too tired to take off her makeup, so she started a video chat with Mo Yesi. They chatted for 10 minutes at most, and then turned off the video with a tired look on her face. Fortunately, this kind of busyness is effective. The new drama has not yet officially started airing, but it has already been hotly searched on Weibo. Many netizens are clamoring to see the new drama aired. Chiao Mian was so busy that she didn't even realize that someone who had been ignored was unhappy. After she and Mo Yesi chatted on video for only 5 minutes, she shouted that she was sleepy and hung up the video. The man on the other side looked at the hung up video with a very ugly expression on his face. "Second brother, what's wrong? My sister-in-law has hung up on your video so quickly." Yan Xiaoqing looked at the man next to him with a gloomy face and a low air, and carefully chose his words. "Second brother, don't you? I'm so happy, maybe my sister-in-law is really sleepy. Besides, aren't you all an old married couple? You talk every day, so it doesn't matter if you don't chat for a while. Why haven't I noticed you are so clingy before, my second brother?" Yan Xiaoqing knew that Mo Yesi was at home alone recently, so he asked him out. Mo Yesi and Chiao Mian were in a private room of a club when they started the video. In the box sat not only Yan Xiaoqing, but also Lu Rao. Because Mo Yesi didn't allow Yan Xiaoqing to call women over, there were only 3 of them in the box. Yan Xiaoqing kept complaining that he was bored to death, but he did not dare to ask his female companion to come over to accompany him. After all, he didn't dare to violate Mo Yesi's wishes. Mo Yesi and Chiao Mian opened the video just now and they all saw it. Mo Yesi was normal at first, but when Chiao Mian hung up the video, his expression suddenly changed. Yan Xiaoqing is a person who is very good at observing people's emotions, and he immediately guessed the reason. As soon as Yan Xiaoqing finished speaking, Mo Yesi turned his head and glared at him. "If you don't speak, no one will think you are mute. It's not my second brother." Yan Xiaoqing looked aggrieved. "You don't allow me to find a beauty to accompany me." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1983. Chapter 1983. This is discrimination, serious discrimination. There are just 3 of us gentlemen here. You still don't let me talk. Do you want us to sit here in silence all night? Besides, I'm not the only one who thinks you are too clingy to your sister-in-law Lu Rao. Tell me, do you think so too? Lu Rao glanced at him. You're not married, so what do you know? When you have a wife in the future, maybe you will be even more attached to your wife than ASI is now. Yan Xiaoqing, tch, I won't be like this. Haven't you heard that marriage is the tomb of love? How many married people can still stay in love? Besides, Lu Rao, don't you have a wife? You look very understanding. I don't understand, how can you understand? Lu Rao smiled, who told you that I don't have a wife? Holy shit, Yan Xiaoqing suddenly jumped up from the sofa. What do you mean? That's what it means literally. Lu Rao smiled again at the corners of his lips, and there was a hint of softness in his eyes. You're not going to say you're married, are you? Yan Xiaoqing's eyes widened with an expression of disbelief. You don't even have a girlfriend, don't tell me that you suddenly have a wife. I won't believe it. Of. Lu Rao rolled his eyes at him and said calmly, do you believe it or not? That's what happened. Since I mentioned this matter, I will inform you in advance that you will have time for my wedding at the end of next month, right? Remember to come join. Holy crap, Yan Xiaoqing was stunned. Are you really married? Are you kidding me? Who are you married to? Why have you never told us about this? You said you have already proven it, that kind of marriage. What do you think? Lu Rao had an expression on his face that said, isn't this nonsense? But why did you get married without saying a word? Yan Xiaoqing still found it incredible. You didn't reveal anything to us. Do we know who the bride is? Do your family members know about this? I didn't tell you because she and I just went to get our marriage certificate yesterday. She is just a teacher from an ordinary university, and you don't know her. Even my family only found out about it yesterday, but they all like her very much. They also accepted our issues. I will bring her out to meet you some other day. She is timid and very shy. Yan Xiao, please behave yourself and don't bring anyone with you that you shouldn't bring with you. Yan Xiaoqing. Why do everyone look like they dislike him? Mo Yesi didn't allow him to take women with him. Lu Rao also did not allow him to bring women. And the reasons for not allowing him are still the same, that is, he is bringing some unscrupulous women, and their little cuties will be unhappy if they see them. Yan Xiaoqing is very angry. How come he is bringing a woman who is not an ordinary woman? They are discriminating, serious discrimination. Lu Rao, are you really married? Mo Yesi was also surprised by the news and turned to look at Lu Rao. Yeah, Lu Rao smiled, I never thought about getting married so early. But the plan can't keep up with the changes, but now I am willing to accept such changes. ACI, I finally understand why you did that at that time, a flash marriage with me and Mian. When you meet the right person, you will only want to settle her as soon as possible, otherwise what if someone else takes her away? Mo Yesi smiled, it would be good to settle on it early. Then I would like to say congratulations to you. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1984. Chapter 1984. Do you think you are sad or not? Thank you. Lu Rao picked up a glass of wine from the coffee table and raised the glass. Mo Yesi also took a glass of wine, clinked the glasses with Lu Rao, and drank it all in one gulp. Yan Xiaoqing. He suddenly discovered that among the three people, he was the only one who was still unmarried. And he still doesn't even have a girlfriend. He looked at the two people clinking glasses and shouted incomprehensibly, are you all crazy? Why are you getting married so early? You are so obsessed with it that you are all rushing to jump into the grave. I don't want to get married so early. I'll talk after I've had enough fun. Just wait and see, you will definitely regret getting married early. As soon as he finished speaking, two indifferent eyes fell on him. Lu Rao curled his lips and sneered, what do you know, you're a single guy. I think you want to get married, that's the person you want to marry, but they don't want to marry you. You don't even have the qualifications to go to the grave, you say you are sad or not. Holy shit, Lu Rao. It's your uncle. Yan Xiaoqing jumped, if you take back what you just said, we can still be brothers. Otherwise, I will. What do you think? Lu Rao sighed softly, I'm just telling the truth. Tell me about you, a master of love who is known as the one who has never touched a leaf among thousands of flowers. How come you can't even get a woman? You've been chasing her for more than half a year. I advise you to forget it. You haven't caught up with me after chasing her for so long, which means she is really not interested in you. The more you stalk her, the more disgusted she will be. Why bother? Woolen cloth. Hearing these sarcastic words, Yan Shaoqing was so angry that he was about to refute. But after hearing the last two words Lu Rao said, his expression changed, he pursed his lips, and swallowed all the refutations. He sat back with a sullen expression. Then he picked up the wine on the table without saying a word and drank one cup after another. Seeing his reaction, Lu Rao thought for a while and then advised, "Really, you'd better let it go. As long as she has a little affection for you, she won't remain indifferent for so long. I know it's a bit difficult, but it's okay. Time cannot solve it." Yan Shaoqing listened to these words, but remained silent. As a brother, Lu Rao couldn't stand it, so he gave some advice. But he is not Yan Shaoqing, so he cannot make decisions for Yan Shaoqing. So I can only give you a few words of advice at most. As for whether Yan Shaoqing will listen, it is not something he can control. Lu Rao only gave a few words of advice and said nothing more. Sometimes, it is always easy to talk about some things that you have not experienced personally. If he encounters a situation like Yan Shaoqing's, he can't guarantee that he will handle it rationally. I didn't want to be too troublesome at first. But I still want to ask, what's going on between you and Zili? Lu Rao looked at Mo Yesi, hesitated for a while, and finally asked. Mo and Gong cancelled their cooperation. Many people outside don't know about this yet. But this group of people had already heard about it. As soon as Lu Rao asked this question, he felt that the atmosphere around him was a little different. Mo Yesi's face darkened, and the air pressure on his body dropped. Yan Shaoqing hesitated for a moment and then asked, "Yes, ACI, what's going on? Why did you suddenly cancel the cooperation with the Gong family? Could it be that the fourth child did something very excessive? Made you angry?" End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1985. Chapter 1985. What a coincidence, we meet again. Yan Shaoqing knew Gong Zili's thoughts about Jiao Mian. If it was because Gong Zili's thoughts were discovered that he cancelled the cooperation with the Gong family, Yan Shaoqing felt that this way of handling it was still a bit serious. If Mo Yesi does this, it will be impossible for the Mo family and the Gong family to get along like before. The relationship between the two families may have faded away. And he and Gong Zili will just fade away. They have grown up together and have known each other for many years. Yan Shaoqing does not want to see such a thing happen. You don't need to know the reason. Mo Yesi had no intention of explaining. He said with a cold expression, "If he is around in the future, don't call me out. He and I are no longer brothers." This is a serious statement. Yan Shaoqing turned his head and looked at each other with Lu Rao for a few seconds. Yan Shaoqing still mustered up the courage to persuade him, "ACI, what you said is too serious. We have been brothers for many years. There is nothing we can't do. Let's talk about it and let's help solve it together." "Yes, ACI," Lu Rao also said, "if you do this, all the brothers will have nothing to do. What happened that made it necessary to deal with it this way? Is there no room for change in this matter?" Mo Yesi's expression became more and more indifferent. "There will be no room for change. You don't need to persuade me, I know what I am doing." "All right." Mo Yesi stood up with a sullen face, "You don't need to say any more. You can play by yourself, I'll go back first." After saying that, regardless of the reaction of the other two people, he turned around and walked out of the private room. Watching him leave, both Yan Shaoqing and Lu Rao frowned. After Mo Yesi left, Yan Shaoqing frowned solemnly and said, "Lu Rao, What do you think is going on between ASI and the fourth child? It's not like there has never been trouble before, but why is it so troublesome this time? Serious. He did this and really left no room at all. Lao Si and we have known each other for many years. If he and ASI really have a quarrel, it will be difficult for the rest of us in the future. To make ACI do this regardless of the consequences, I guess this matter has something to do with Jiao Mian. Only when it comes to things related to Jiao Mian, ACI will be so irrational. I think, instead of asking ACI to ask, it's better to ask Zili directly. Let's find out what happened and then see if there is any chance of saving it. That's all we can do. Yan Shaoqing sighed. Hey, why did it happen like this? I'll go find the fourth child and ask him. There happens to be something, and I want to ask him carefully. Asterisk. Mo Yesi walked out of the private room, ready to go home directly. He walked to the elevator. One of the elevators had just reached the third floor. The elevator door opened and a woman walked out. Mo Yesi didn't look at the woman and was about to enter the elevator. Mr. Mo, a woman's voice sounded next to him. Mo Yesi turned his head and saw a somewhat familiar face. Is the woman who just stepped out of the elevator. The woman looked at him and smiled. Mr. Mo, what a coincidence, we meet again. Mo Yesi recognized the woman, but he didn't say anything. He just looked at the woman next to him expressionlessly. Mr. Mo, don't you remember me? The woman didn't seem to mind. She said with a faint smile, I am Tang Yat. Your mother and I are friends and I have been to your house once. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1986. Chapter 1986. Don't be familiar with yourself again. Of course Mo Yesi recognized Tang Yat. Because Mo brought Tang Yat back to Mo's house for the first time, and when he saw Tang Yat, he felt that there was something wrong with her. At that time, he paid more attention to Tang Yat. So he recognized Tang Yat. It's just that Tang Yat was a stranger here, so even if he recognized her, he had no intention of saying hello. Now Tang Yat introduced herself again, and Mo Yesi just nodded lightly, Ms. Tang. After saying hello, he was about to get into the elevator. Mr. Mo, Tang Yat called him again. Is there anything else you can do, Miss Tang? Mo Yesi was obviously a little impatient and his tone was not very good. Mr. Mo, I just want to tell you that you should go back and visit Mo when you have time. Tang Yat's voice was thin and soft, and she didn't mind his coldness. Mo always talks about you to me. She still talks about you. I care about you very much. There is no need for Mr. Mo to stay angry with his mother. How is my relationship with my mother? This is a matter of our family. It has nothing to do with you as an outsider. Facing Tang Yat's kind persuasion, Mo Yesi's attitude was very cold and he said without giving any face, Miss Tang, it's better not to get involved in other people's family affairs. Besides, I'm not familiar with you, so it's inappropriate for you to say these things to me. Not appropriate? There was a crack in the indifferent expression on Tang Yat's face that seemed to be unaffected by anything. Her face was stiff for a few seconds. Mr. Mo, I only mean well. Your mother and I are friends, so I can't bear to see her depressed all day long. If Mr. Mo thinks that I am nosy, I will not say anything again in the future. You are indeed nosy. Mo Yesi narrowed his eyes and said coldly, it's good that you can realize this. Don't get familiar with me in the future. After finishing speaking, he turned around and entered the elevator. The elevator door closes. Tang Yat bit her lip and her face darkened little by little. This Mo Yesi. She took a deep breath and tried her best to suppress her anger. Many years ago, She had learned to control her emotions well. There are very few people who can irritate her anymore. She thought she had done a good job in managing her emotions. But she was easily aroused by Mo Yesi just now. Mo Yesi, a man, doesn't play by common sense at all. It would have been impossible for anyone else to say those words to her. Haven't any mercy at all. It seems that he has the same information as she found out. The second young master of the Mo family is cold by nature and has a bad temper. He is a person who doesn't like to act according to common sense, so he is also a difficult person to deal with. Tanya stood at the elevator entrance with a sullen face for a while. Just as she turned around, another elevator stopped. The woman coming out of the elevator was stunned for a moment when she saw Tanya, and immediately stepped forward to greet her, Ms. Tang. Tanya raised her head and watched Shenro walk up to her. She said calmly, "You were downstairs, did you see any of your acquaintances?" Acquaintance? Shenro was stunned. What acquaintance? Mo Yesi just went down. Didn't you see him? Hearing the name Mo Yesi, Shenro's expression suddenly changed. She looked at Tanya with a somewhat probing gaze and shook her head. Tanya didn't say anything more, turned around and said, "Let's go." Okay, Shenro was no longer as arrogant as before. When she spoke to Tanya, her attitude was very polite. When Tanya said to leave, she immediately followed Tanya. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1987. Chapter 1987. I urge you to go see that melon. The two of them walked outside a private room and went in one after another. Asterisk. The matter between Gong and Mo finally broke out. Although Gong Zili had been prepared and had been asking the public relations department to suppress the news, how could such a big matter be really suppressed? The first person to break the news was an employee who claimed to work for Gongxi. At first, netizens didn't believe this at all. Because the Gong family and the Mo family were family friends and the two families had always cooperated, suddenly someone said that the two families had cancelled all cooperation. Not many people would believe it. But later, many people broke the news one after another, and when some people discovered that some projects that Gong and Mo were cooperating with were indeed suspended, some netizens began to believe this and found out a lot of evidence. Netizens discovered that all the ongoing cooperation between the Gong family and the Mo family had been suspended. Both of them are among the top large companies in Yuncheng. It is not suspended because of funding problems. The sudden suspension of cooperation will undoubtedly cause huge losses. This incident is still very sensational. A group of melon-eating netizens started discussing it eagerly. Damn, this guy looks very powerful. The Gong family and the Mo family have a falling out? Haven't the two families always been on good terms? I heard that the crown prince of the Gong family and the second young master of the Mo family are still very good friends. Why did they suddenly fall out? I just came back from eating a lot of melon in the tea area, believe it or not. I want to say that this incident seems to be because of a woman, and you will never guess who this woman is. I rely on the sister upstairs not to speak only half the words. Who is this woman you are talking about, please tell me. I also went to the tea area to eat the melon. The link is attached. You can go and see for yourselves. The melon is so sweet and delicious. It is the most shocking one among all the melons I have eaten recently. Believe me, after reading this when I came back, I was absolutely filled with the feeling of hum. The comment section dropped a link to the gossip. Many netizens clicked on the link and went to eat it. After a while, a group of netizens who had finished eating melon came back to comment. Holy shit, I'm back. I urge you to go see that melon, it's really exciting. So, Chiao Mianmian's boyfriend is actually not a relative of the Mo family at all, but a serious young master of the Mo family. No wonder he is so powerful. When he said he wanted to acquire the Su family, he bought the Su family. Yes, No wonder when he first registered on Weibo, the second generation of super rich people like Yan Shaoqing followed him, retweeted his Weibo, and called him eldest brother. If he were the second young master of the Mo family, then it's not surprising. Am I the only one who thinks Jiao Mian is a bitch? She's already with Mo Yesi, and she's having an affair with young Master Gong. Now the two men have made their relationship so stiff for her, and they have no choice but to be brothers for many years. She is a disaster. Oh, my dream is to be such a beauty. Think about it, two super handsome guys, rich and handsome, are willing to treat you well, and are jealous for you. This kind of experience is not a good one. I don't think we can blame Jiao Mian. Maybe she didn't do anything. Her face is indeed very attractive to men. My brother said that Jiao Mian is the type that many straight men like. I think she's really beautiful. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1988. Chapter 1988, Are you acquiescing in your unwillingness to answer? Some of the comments in the building are too unfriendly. Do women have to be so malicious towards women? The so-called ambiguity between Jiao Mian and Gong Zili was all hyped up by the media. She made it public a long time ago romance. Based on this, I feel that she is very responsible for relationships. It is not her fault that people fall in love with her because of her good looks. Why should she be blamed for such a thing? I think Jiao Mian is so awesome. She can let two such outstanding men do this for her. This is absolutely awesome. If she publishes a book that teaches us how to seduce male idols, I will definitely be the first to buy it. If those melons are real, President Mo's anger will turn into beauty. If a man treats me like this, I will die with no regrets in my life. If Jiao Mian's boyfriend is really the president of the Mo family, then I think she is too low-key. She has such an awesome boyfriend, but she didn't say anything about it. Upstairs, it's not that she doesn't want to say it, it's that she is not qualified to say it. She wants to make it completely public. Are they willing to let her do it? The man is really the president of the Mo family. Can he really play with a little artist like her? What kind of boyfriend? That sounds nice, but I think it's the relationship between the sponsor and his lover. The discussion among netizens was aroused. Gongshi Moshi's breakup hashtag. Pru identity hashtag. Angamianmian Beijing Hai Shui hashtag. These hot searches were discussed and ranked in the top 3 of the hot search list. Asterisk. Jiao Mian is still doing the last round of promotion for the new drama in Y City. She finished her promotion and left the venue. As soon as I walked out of the venue, I saw a lot of reporters outside. Seeing Jiao Mian come out, reporters rushed to her. Jiao Mian, what do you think of the news that broke today? Are all the things that were revealed true? Is the break between the Mo family and the Gong family really because of you? Jiao Mian, is your boyfriend really the president of Mo Corporation? Jiao Mian. In an instant, Jiao Mian was surrounded by reporters. Countless microphones and recorders were pointed at her, and the flashlights kept shining, causing her to cover her eyes with her hands. You guys give way, don't push forward. Nana stretched out her hand to protect Jiao Mian. The reporter ignored it and wanted to grab the first-hand news. Jiao Mian, please answer our questions. Are the revelations today true? Did Gong and Mo stop their cooperation because of you? The moment reporters swarmed up, Jiao Mian was stunned. Hearing the reporter's question, she was confused again. She raised her head and looked at the excited reporters, with a dazed expression on her face. How did these reporters know about the break between the Gong family and the Mo family? Moreover, how did they know Mo Yesi's true identity? Sorry, I can't answer anything yet. I will explain it to you later. Jiao Mian didn't know what happened yet, so she definitely couldn't answer these reporters' questions. She now just wants to find out what happened right away. After she finished speaking, she lowered her head and made an apology gesture. I'm really sorry. Please give way, don't block us here, let us go out. But these reporters failed to ask for the information they wanted, so how could they let her go? Chiao Mian, are you acquiescing in your unwillingness to answer? So are the rumors on the internet true? Did the young master of the Mo family and the crown prince of the Gong family really have a conflict because of their competition for you, and then they stopped the cooperation between the two families? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1989. Chapter 1989. Mo Yesi, why are you here? Sorry, I don't know anything. I really can't answer. Chiao Mian was forced back step by the reporter. Just when she didn't know what to do, a hand stretched out from behind her, crashed into a hard embrace. The familiar breath rushed into her nose and surrounded her. She was stunned for a moment, then raised her head in surprise. The man's handsome and three-dimensional features fell into her eyes bit by bit. She opened her eyes wide and murmured in a low voice, Mo Yesi, why are you here? Mo Yesi didn't say anything. After holding her in his arms, he raised his head and looked at the group of reporters with a cold expression. If you have any questions, you can ask me, he said in a cold voice. First make an appointment with my assistant, and I will choose a time to choose a media to answer it. But before that, if you continue to block my woman like this, I will deny you any chance to interview her in the future. The moment Mo Yesi appeared, a group of reporters who had been pressing towards Chiao Mian a moment ago were intimidated by his aura. For a moment, no one dared to step forward. They just chased Chiao Mian to ask about Mo Yesi. Now that the real owner has appeared, no one dares to ask any more questions. After Mo Yesi finished speaking, he hugged Chiao Mian and left. The reporter did not dare to block the situation any longer, so he automatically made way for them and watched them leave. After they left, a group of reporters turned on their cameras and took crazy pictures of their backs. Although they didn't get the information they wanted today, Mo Yesi's arrival was enough for them to write a news article with a high click-through rate. Asterisk. Chiao Mian was still in a daze until she followed Mo Yesi into the car. She turned her head to look at the man beside her, blinked, and said with a confused expression, Mo Yesi, why are you here? Aren't you at work today? Sat in the front row was Uncle Lee. After Mo Yesi got in the car, Uncle Lee asked, Master, where are you going now? Go to the airport. Going to the airport, Chiao Mian was stunned and said quickly, No, I still have luggage at the hotel. Let your assistant pack it up and take it back to you. Okay. Chiao Mian didn't dwell on the matter anymore. She took out her mobile phone and called Nana. After explaining a few words, she hung up the phone. She repeated the question she just asked, You haven't answered me yet, why are you here? Of course I came to find you. Mo Yesi looked at her and said expressionlessly, Otherwise, why do you think I came here? I thought you might be on a business trip. Well, I'm on a business trip. I stopped by to see you, right? Chiao Mian. She could hear a hint of displeasure in Mo Yesi's tone. It's like having an opinion on her. She thought about it and felt that she didn't seem to have done anything to make him angry. Could it be that because of what the reporter just said, he was unhappy and came to look for her? That's not what I meant. It's just that I haven't seen you for a long time, so I was a little surprised to see you all of a sudden. Yeah. Mo Yesi nodded and smiled, but there was no smile in his eyes. As you know, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Chiao Mian. This tone seems a little wrong. It seemed normal on paper, but based on her understanding of the man next to her, Chiao Mian felt that he seemed unhappy. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1990. Chapter 1990. I really got a little attached to her. Moreover, it was because she was unhappy. After confirming the matter, Chiao Mian glanced at the man's face and said cautiously, "Mo Yesi, are you angry? Did I do something to make you unhappy? If there's anything you can tell me directly." Mo Yesi was silent for a moment. "You don't know why I'm unhappy." Chiao Mian was silent for a while, and then looked at his face and said slowly, "Is it because of the revelations today? When she called Nana just now, she saw a pushed Weibo. Turn on the phone and see it. Then she probably knew what those reporters were talking about. Because of those revelations, she and Gong Zili were involved in scandal again." Mo Yesi knew what Gong Zili was thinking. It is normal to feel uncomfortable after seeing those revelations. Chiao Mian guessed that he was unhappy mostly because of this reason. "I don't know why those news came out, She tried to explain. "It has nothing to do with the news." Seeing her explanation so seriously, Mo Yesi didn't know what to say. She really didn't know why he was unhappy. So, has he been sulking alone all this time? He was so angry that he deliberately ignored her. I thought that no matter how slow she was, she would be able to sense his emotions, but she didn't. Until now, she doesn't know anything. Thinking of this, Mo Yesi felt even more depressed. For a long time, he was competing with himself alone. And a certain little woman is obviously heartless. Isn't it because of those revelations? Sure enough, Chiao Mian's face showed a more confused expression. She blinked, her eyes full of innocence. "What's that for?" "Mo Yesi, what are you angry about? Tell me. Is it because someone saw me and Gong Zili talking together in Ningcheng? I can explain this. I didn't know that he would go to Ningcheng at all, and it was a coincidence that we met at that time. Chiao Mian, do you want to me off to death?" Mo Yesi took a deep breath and silently told himself over and over in his heart, "My daughter-in-law is my own, and I must pamper her even if I kneel down." I really don't know why you are angry." The expression on Chiao Mian's face became even more innocent, with some grievances on her face, and she said pitifully, "Just tell me." "Mo Yesi. Forget it, he shouldn't expect anything. I am not angry." "But you just said you were angry." "I said it casually, so you don't need to take it seriously." "But you are really angry." Chiao Mian blinked. "I know where I must have made you angry, just tell me. If I did something wrong, can I apologize to you? If you don't say anything like this, I don't even know what you are angry about." "You didn't do anything wrong." Mo Yesi stretched out his hand and rubbed the center of his brow, remembering that Yan Shaoqing had said that he was too clingy to Chiao Mian. He didn't think so at the time, but now that he thought about it, he seemed to be a little clingy to her. She will always miss her when she is not around. You will feel that something is missing. Especially when I fall asleep at night, I feel empty around me. He will not be used to life without her. But she doesn't seem to be like this. End of this chapter.